In a busy bank office, the atmosphere was tense as the branch manager, Lisa, shouted at a black woman named Angela, demanding that she leave at once. "Get out of my office immediately, or you'll regret this. We don't serve frauds like you." The aggressive tone of Lisa echoed in the room, startling Angela, who had come in calmly to request standard banking services. Despite the chaos surrounding her, Angela remained composed, although she hadn't anticipated being physically accosted in such a public space. As Lisa's assistants moved in to escort her out, Angela's phone slipped from her grasp, clattering to the polished marble floor and sliding beneath Lisa's desk. The loss of her phone meant she could no longer document the humiliation unfolding before her. With swift, harsh movements, Lisa grabbed a pair of scissors and, without a second thought, cut through Angela's carefully styled braids. Each strand fell to the cold floor, a symbol of her dignity lost in a matter of moments. The muffled sobs of Angela, unable to fight back against men twice her size, filled the office, while onlookers, both customers and employees, watched in stunned silence. Angela had simply come to the bank for assistance, yet here she was, stripped of her dignity by those who believed they held power over her. What neither Lisa nor her staff realized was the true identity and strength of the woman they were humiliating. Angela was not just an ordinary customer. She was about to reveal the remarkable power she possessed. Before delving deeper into this shocking narrative, let's pause for a moment. If you believe in standing up against discrimination, take a moment to subscribe to our channel, Change Weavers, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Together, we can create change. Sarah Johnson wasn't just another customer walking into Meridian Financial that fateful morning. At 38, she embodied excellence in everything she pursued. Growing up in a working-class neighborhood in Chicago, Sarah learned early that success would require double the effort for half the recognition. By her mid-30s, Sarah had transformed herself into one of the most sought-after executives in finance. Her innovative approaches to ethical investing regularly earned her features in Fortune and Forbes magazines. When Meridian Financial's board began searching for fresh leadership to modernize their institution, Sarah's name topped their shortlist. After months of careful negotiations, Sarah agreed to join Meridian's board with the understanding that she would transition into the CEO position. The current board members were impressed by her vision for community-focused banking that maintained high profitability. What the board didn't realize was Sarah's personal commitment to authenticity and transparency in leadership, qualities that would soon reshape the entire organization in ways they couldn't imagine. 2 weeks before her official announcement as incoming CEO, Sarah made an unconventional decision. Rather than relying on corporate reports and statistics, she would visit several Meridian Financial branches incognito to experience their service as an ordinary customer. "You can't fix what you don't understand," she told her assistant while planning her undercover visits. "And you can't understand what you haven't experienced firsthand." This wasn't a publicity stunt. No cameras would follow her, no press release would announce her findings. This was Sarah's personal methodology, one she had employed throughout her career with remarkable success. These unannounced visits consistently revealed more about company culture than months of formal meetings ever could. Sarah selected 5 branches to visit, including the prestigious Oakwood location. Her mission was clear: to witness the unfiltered truth about Meridian's customer service before attempting to transform it. What she couldn't anticipate was how this decision would become the catalyst for a complete institutional overhaul. The Oakwood branch of Meridian Financial stood majestically in an affluent suburb, its impressive limestone facade projecting an image of stability and tradition. For 15 years, branch manager Rebecca Williams had run this location with what regional directors praised as exceptional efficiency. What these directors failed to see was that Rebecca had cultivated a culture where certain customers received royal treatment, while others were subtly discouraged from banking there. With her perfectly highlighted blonde hair and country club connections, Rebecca had transformed a public financial institution into her personal domain. Inside, the branch exuded exclusivity: leather seating areas, mahogany desks, and digital displays showcasing premium investment services. Staff members had been carefully selected and trained to maintain Rebecca's vision of the right kind of clientele. Several employees had quietly resigned over the years, uncomfortable with the unspoken policies, but Rebecca's impressive numbers kept upper management from looking too closely at her methods. The Oakwood branch was about to face its reckoning in the form of Sarah Johnson's unannounced visit. As a black woman, Sarah's hair journey had been deeply personal and politically charged. Throughout college and her early career, she had chemically straightened her natural curls, investing thousands of dollars and countless hours maintaining a look that corporate America deemed professional. The burns on her scalp, damaged edges, and constant maintenance were considered necessary sacrifices for success in the financial world. But 3 years ago, after reaching a position of influence, Sarah made a pivotal decision. She would no longer compromise her identity for corporate acceptance. She let her relaxer grow out and began embracing her natural hair. The transition wasn't easy. She noticed subtle changes in how colleagues addressed her and encountered microaggressions, suggesting her natural appearance was somehow less professional. That morning, preparing for her undercover visit, Sarah chose a conservative charcoal gray pantsuit and minimal jewelry. Nothing that would signal her executive status. Looking in the mirror, she adjusted her beautifully crafted box braids and reminded herself of her purpose. Time to see what really happens when no one thinks the boss is watching. When Sarah entered Meridian Financial's Oakwood branch, she approached the reception desk with measured confidence. The receptionist, a young white woman with straight blonde hair in a tight ponytail, glanced up briefly before returning to her computer screen without acknowledgement. Sarah stood patiently, portfolio clutched professionally at her side. 1 minute passed, then 2. The receptionist continued typing, periodically answering calls, but never once looking up again at Sarah. When an older white couple entered, the receptionist immediately brightened. "Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. Thompson. How was your trip to Bermuda?" For 10 full minutes, she chatted with them about vacations and grandchildren while Sarah remained invisible. After the Thompsons were personally escorted to an office, a middle-aged white man in a golf shirt entered. Again, the receptionist offered immediate assistance, arranging an investment consultation without checking any appointment book. 27 minutes had passed when the receptionist finally acknowledged Sarah with a tight, impatient expression. "Is there something you need?" Her tone suggested Sarah was somehow inconveniencing her by standing there. Sarah was directed to wait in the least desirable seating area, tucked away behind a large potted plant, almost hidden from the main lobby. This subtle segregation spoke volumes about the branch's unwritten policies. Opening her portfolio, Sarah pretended to review documents while actually observing the branch dynamics. Within moments, she noticed how her presence altered the atmosphere. An older white woman gathered her purse and moved to a different section, casting suspicious glances in Sarah's direction. 2 other customers whispered to each other, their eyes darting toward her braided hair. "So unprofessional," one woman muttered, not bothering to lower her voice. "I don't understand why they can't just wear normal hair to a business setting." Her friend nodded. "Makes me uncomfortable just looking at it." A young mother with a stroller entered the waiting area, glanced at Sarah, then immediately exited, choosing to stand rather than sit near her, pure unconscious bias in action. For 25 minutes, Sarah observed as customer after customer received immediate attention while she remained waiting, documenting every instance of preferential treatment in her mental notes. If you've experienced similar treatment based on your appearance, we'd love to hear your story in the comments below. As Sarah continued to observe the discriminatory practices unfolding around her, the weight of these everyday injustices became increasingly apparent. The casual dismissal of her presence, the whispered comments about her appearance, and the preferential treatment given to others painted a clear picture of systemic bias in action. Have you ever been treated differently in a professional setting because of your appearance? Perhaps you've stood at a counter being repeatedly overlooked, while others who arrived after you received immediate assistance. Maybe you've heard the whispers or felt the stares that suggest you somehow don't belong. These experiences aren't isolated incidents. They're part of a broader pattern that affects millions of Americans every day. By sharing our stories, we create awareness and build momentum for change. Take a moment now to reflect on your own experiences. Have you witnessed or experienced similar discrimination? Share your story in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to see how Sarah's powerful journey unfolds. Your voice matters in this conversation about equality and respect in our everyday interactions. After 47 minutes, nearly triple the wait time of any white customer that morning, Sarah was finally summoned to Rebecca's office. The receptionist led her down a hallway lined with photos of Meridian Financial's past presidents, a visual history of exclusively white male leadership. Rebecca's corner office featured floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking manicured gardens. She sat behind an imposing mahogany desk, theatrically reviewing documents as Sarah entered. When introduced, Rebecca looked up with momentary, undisguised distaste before arranging her features into a tight, professional smile that never reached her eyes. "How can I help you?" Rebecca asked, pointedly leaving Sarah standing while all other clients had been offered seats and refreshments. "Good morning, Ms. Williams." Sarah began with warm professionalism. "I'd like to discuss business banking services for a community development project I'm launching. Rebecca leaned back, her eyes performing a slow evaluative scan from Sarah's face to her shoes. "And do you understand how business banking works, Ms. Johnson?" she asked, enunciating each word with exaggerated clarity, as if speaking to someone who might struggle with English. Several employees passing by glanced in, their expressions revealing this was standard practice in Rebecca's office. "Before we proceed with any discussion of business services, I'll need to verify your identity more thoroughly," Rebecca announced, extending her hand for Sarah's identification. "Bank policy for new clients, especially for significant funding requests." Sarah calmly produced her driver's license, aware this was the first direct lie. Meridian had no such policy for initial consultations. Rebecca studied the license with exaggerated scrutiny. The photo, taken 3 years earlier, showed Sarah with chemically straightened hair, the corporate style she had maintained before embracing her natural hair. "This doesn't look like you," Rebecca declared suspiciously. "The person in this ID has straight hair. Your appearance is completely different." When Sarah explained the simple change in hairstyle, Rebecca demanded additional identification. Sarah complied, producing her passport and credit card. With each document presented, Rebecca found new reasons to question their authenticity. While maintaining eye contact with Sarah, Rebecca subtly pressed a button beneath her desk, a silent security alert. The calculated action was meant to intimidate. 2 security guards appeared almost instantly, positioning themselves just inside the doorway as Rebecca whispered concerns about potential identity fraud. As Rebecca was speaking quietly into her phone, her office door opened. An elderly white woman, the same customer who had moved away from Sarah in the waiting area, entered without knocking. "Excuse me," she interrupted loudly, addressing Rebecca while pointedly ignoring Sarah's presence. "I couldn't help but notice this person was brought into your office, and I wanted to express my concerns." Rebecca set down the phone, her expression shifting to solicitous concern. "What concerns you, Mrs. Anderson?" Emboldened by Rebecca's receptiveness, the elderly woman continued with increasing volume, clearly intending for her words to carry. "I've been banking here for 30 years, and I've never felt unsafe until today. That woman's hair looks like it could be hiding anything. Weapons, recording devices. It's intimidating to other customers." This outlandish assertion that Sarah's braided hair could somehow conceal dangerous items would have been laughable if it weren't so deeply rooted in racist stereotypes. Throughout this extraordinary display, Sarah remained seated, her posture straight, her expression composed. Several employees had gathered outside, watching through the glass partition, some looking uncomfortable while others nodded in agreement with Mrs. Anderson's complaints. "I'd like to see your anti-discrimination policy, please," Sarah requested calmly, her voice steady and professional despite the humiliation she was experiencing. The request visibly startled Rebecca, whose practiced expression faltered momentarily. "Excuse me," she replied, as if Sarah had said something outlandish. "Meridian Financial's anti-discrimination policy," Sarah repeated. "Federal law requires all financial institutions to maintain such policies." As she spoke, Sarah discreetly tapped a sequence on her smartwatch, a pre-programmed alert that would send her location to her executive team. Rebecca's face hardened, all pretense of professionalism abandoned. "I'm not sure what you're implying, but I can assure you that Meridian Financial treats all qualified customers equally." She emphasized the word qualified, with unmistakable meaning. The security guards moved closer to Sarah's chair as Rebecca continued with increasing boldness. "Let me be frank, Ms. Johnson. When you come into an establishment like Meridian Financial, there are certain standards of appearance we expect. Get out of my office now," Rebecca finally shouted, her composure completely shattered. But Sarah remained calm, insisting on being treated with respect. What Rebecca couldn't know was that her actions that day would soon lead to one of the most dramatic reckonings in corporate America. This powerful story of discrimination and its consequences is brought to you by Change Weavers. Subscribe now to see how this confrontation resolves, and learn how we can all become agents of positive change in our communities.